Hello, my name is Patrick, and I'd like to address you all today on a topic that is deeply concerning to me, and by the amount of news coverage in the local media um, and national media, for that matter, is important to everyone, and that is the topic of gun control. I would like to start by saying that I neither side with the left or the right. I believe that every person has the right to voice their opinion, that every person has the right to vote for what they believe is true and correct, moral and ethical. Um, you know, so I'm not going to sit here and bash liberals, as many folks will. Um, do I think that there's some flawed logic in some of their thinking? Yes. However, that's one of the things that makes this country great, is that everyone has the right to free speech. We all have the right to voice an opinion, and for what it's worth, here is mine. I grew up in California, um, one of the strictest gun control states in the nation. Um, I was a junior in high school um, when the shooting in Columbine took place. Um, as far as the the uproar that's going on now about armed police in schools, um, we had a officer liaison at my campus, and before you jump on the bandwagon and say, oh well, he's got a tattoo on his neck, or that must have been down in LA. No, I lived in a very small coastal town, about 30 to 40-minute drive south of San Francisco. A lot of great people there. Um, and this officer was in touch with almost all of the students on a daily basis while we were at school. And he was armed. And I was okay with that. I never felt uncomfortable. Um, we try to teach our kids that police officers are people that can be relied on, people that are there to help you in a crisis. Um, that being said, I would like to address the fact that, generally speaking, in cases such as the recent uh, shootings in Connecticut, um, the term first responder gets passed around quite a bit. Um, and let's look at the terminology. Um, First responder. Let's put the emphasis on responder. A situation is already taking place. In this particular situation, um, very young children are being shot in mass, and the call goes out to law enforcement. Law enforcement appropriately dispatches police officers to the scene of the call. And once they get there, by nature, um, set up and assess the situation. Um, and in a lot of ways, that puts them behind the eight ball before they even have a chance. Um, Again, they're responding to a situation that's already taking place. And in the meantime, lives are being lost. And in the case of Connecticut, um, it was tragically young children and their teachers and their principal. And my heart goes out to anyone who's been touched by this tragedy, by Columbine, by the Oklahoma City bombing. You know, um, a lot of this is being brought back to the surface very, very quickly by the national media. And in some ways, it's reopening old scars, reopening old wounds. I will say this: when I was a junior in high school, as I said, and the Columbine shooting took place, we already had an assault weapons ban in place. The problem is the Klebold's and the Lanzas of this world, and I specifically mean by that those who took part in those particular shootings, not any of their extended family. So I apologize for perhaps that assumption in my statement. They don't care about these nice, convenient, gun-free zones that our government has set up. Thankfully, I live in a state that allows concealed carry by people who apply for a permit, and the training is there, and law-abiding citizens carry guns. Like I said, I put this to you quite frankly. I, as a father, a husband, and a responsible American gun owner, am truly concerned that a vast majority of our population would trade off the true ability to protect ourselves from people such as Adam Lanza for a false sense of security. You can see the signs anywhere you go. Concealed carry permit holders have to abide by them, or they get locked up. They get their gun taken away, they get their permit taken away, and they face jail time. When you see that nice little picture of a Beretta with a red cross through it, that means your gun is not welcome here. Time and time again, these shooters seek these places out. How many more lives are we going to sacrifice as a country, as a society, even in a smaller scope, as a community, before we take a real honest assessment of the fact that these weapons are here? They've been here for quite a long time, and they're not going anywhere. Even if our government says, hey, give up all your guns, I highly doubt that the criminals of our country are going to abide by any of that. And if you believe they will, I'm sorry for your misconceptions. So please, again, I'm not associated with the left or the right. I have no political bias. I urge you, as a father and a husband, and as a responsible American gun owner, to really consider what you are about to let your elected officials put into law. The best person to help you out of a crisis such as the ones we've seen of late is you. If you're not comfortable with guns, that's fine. I do not urge you to do something you're not comfortable with. I am. And given that position, if I were to see you, not even knowing who you are, in a state of crisis where your life may be lost, I would do my level best to ensure that you were not killed. Thank you for your time. Have a good night.